Well, I wanted to talk to you about your writing.
Okay.
What's your process when you're writing or working on a book creatively? What do you kind of start with the idea, the beginning, the middle, the end? Like, do you kind of what's the process? Is it character?
For me, right now, honestly, the biggest struggle for me is to set time aside. Because writing is its own thing on it. Its own whole task, especially when you're working on publishing, other people's books as well. But for me, the approach really, I think, I like to write a lot of notes and ideas. I don't know if I'd call it a journal, but I always have sort of a work tablet with me that I can jot down notes or write things for meetings and stuff like that. And I will keep story ideas and sort of just something occurs to me, I write it down. And those usually are what evolve into bigger ideas. I'll work one, as much as I can. And if I hit a wall, I go to something else. And I sort of have Word documents that are just like pieces of stories or links or hyperlinks to things that inspire me or I want to include, or it might just be something to check out later. And I just kind of let them pull in the lead naturally for what I'm going to focus on next. There's actually, like, at this point, for what I'm working on, there's like 2 or 3 that are, I couldn't tell you which one's going to hit that point where I'm like, all right, this is the one to focus on solely, but they're sort of competing with one another. The only other thing that I really do that I guess I could recommend would be I take, and I totally steal this from an interview that I saw with Joss Whedon where he was talking about his writing space and his approach. But he recommended eating your dessert first. And what that essentially means, like, hey, don't feel like you have to write, the first page first and the second page second and third page third. Like, if you are struggling with those elements, but like, oh, there's a cool fight, I know it midway point, or there's this awesome speech someone says right at the end. Go ahead and write those things first, because that might give you the motivation or the energy or the inspiration to go, all right, well, now I have another moment that I can write, and you slowly, can put it together that way. I think it's very much like when I was listening to your episode with Ryan Cady, he talked about, just getting it all out and kind of laying out like the beats, even if they're not perfect, so that you can go back and then start to work with it. I think people get so caught up with, like, it has to be perfect as soon as it comes out. Sometimes you just need to.
No, it does not.
It has to exist.
Exactly. It has to be out there, and everything works itself through.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's a lot of people don't understand. They're like, oh, like, it was perfect in my head, and as soon as I tried to get it out, it came out not as I expected at all. And you're like, you just gotta re-edit. That's why they have editing and second drafts and third drafts and getting. Well,
it's like there. So much of writing is rewrites.
Yeah.
Like you get that, as you said, that first draft out there, and then you're like, oh, well, this needs tweaked here, mm-hmm. This needs tweaked here, and this and this. And if you're working with other people, clearly you get these rounds of notes, and that helps really kind of craft or shape, the final form of where it's going to go.